This morning I want to talk to you about how we prepare for the rough days ahead. One of the ways to prepare. I'll be using the movie Titanic as an analogy and the history because I believe we're sailing into some very rough waters. So let's talk about it. And good morning. I'm Aunt Beth. Welcome to my lamppost. In the movie and in real life, there was a lot of arrogance that the ship was too big to fail. For those of you who don't know, it was a luxury ship. On its first voyage, it was going from England to the United States, and it hit an iceberg and sank. Actually, on tax day, April 15th, 1912. Because they felt that it was too big to fail, they had lifeboats, number of lifeboats according to the regulations at the time. But some of them were below deck because they didn't want to obscure the view for the luxury cabins. The ship took a lot of risks, sailing way too close to some icebergs. And they figured they could handle it, but they couldn't. And the ship sank. The ship's orchestra literally played while the ship was sinking. I don't know if it was to distract the passengers. I don't know. So they wouldn't panic. But the hard truth of reality is, in the real world, when people were rescued by another ship that was going by, most of the lifeboats were half empty. Only 31% of the people on board made it. So, but here's the point I want to talk to you about. Only 2 lifeboats actually went back at risk to themselves and picked passengers out of the water. Only 2. I think there's a lot of arrogance right now in the U.S. economy that we're too big to fail. There's no worries, be happy, go back to the dining room and have some ice cream. But if you could go back in time, what would you do? Because let's learn from the past. Let's think through this. And secure yourself. You make sure your family is taken care of and they're with you. You'd make sure your lifeboat's full. You don't want to live the rest of your life with regrets. That out of your selfishness, you left some people behind. You are certainly not going to be distracted by going back to your room and stuffing as much as you can into your pockets. You know what I mean? And I think that God is calling us to be a refuge. We need to be mentally and spiritually prepared. That's half the battle, is being mentally and spiritually prepared. So what is the rescue going to look like for you versus me? It's probably going to be different. But we've got to be mentally and spiritually prepared. So I guess you could say I'm trying to sound the alarm. Will the USA survive this? I believe yes, but it sure isn't going to look like it does now. It's not going to be this bloated luxury liner sailing around. We're going to be an efficient, sleek, purposeful mercy ship. And I would suspect that you want to be part of that. I know I do. So no fear. God's in this. He wants you to survive. He wants you to do well. Okay, but on his terms. He's not going to rescue the United States just so we can have our toy back and do whatever we want. So, seek God, watch, pray, stand fast in the faith. Let all that you do be done in love. I hope this encourages you. We'll talk later as far as extracting yourself out of Babylon. What can you do? But for now, I guess the point is, you have a calling. You're Lifeboat 24 or 25, whatever it happens. I want you ready. I want to be ready. Have a fabulous day. All God's best.